What are you doing?
Hi, so today I'm making like little ice cream bites out of, it's not a Napoleon, it's
It's pistachio, cherry, and chocolate.
yeah.
And it has maraschino cherries in it.
And I'm just using a melon baller to do it, and this was some boiling water just because it makes it easier. This will be something that I have to come back to like as the stuff is not melting. Once it starts to melt. There's the pistachio. And I'm also going to be making some strawberry pudding. And all of this stuff we're going to freeze dry. And the reason why we're freeze drying them is because we are planning on doing at least, well, I have at least 2 weeks of hiking for vacation. And Chris, I think, has 2.5 weeks because he's going to go with his daughter. And these make nice little treats. And I will say one thing, I have hiked without desserts and I have now hiked with desserts. Hiking with desserts is so much better. So basically, you can see what I'm doing. I'm just melon balling out little things and I stick them on here. And I'll probably get more than 2 trays worth out of it, which means we may get to eat some. Yay!
Well, we have the freeze dryer. We can do as many as we want.
So, no, I mean we may get to eat some ice cream.
Oh, ice cream. Oh. Okay.
Let's see if I can. Oh, see, it's already melting really fast. So, this is going to have to go back.
Yeah, put it back in. What are you doing now?
Oh, I'm just making more of the ice cream stuff. Ice cream balls. And it's getting where it's just melting, so.
You can go.
Okay, so I'm going to make strawberry pudding. It's the other thing I'm making. It's got 1/2 cup of just plain white flour. 1 cup of sugar. And just mix it all up together. And then you're gonna, this is 2 cups of milk, but the way you're gonna put it in here is just a little bit. Basically what you're wanting to make is like a roux or a paste. So you're just gonna keep mixing until you get everything very well combined, and the 2 egg yolks are gonna go in there too. You have to separate your eggs. You do not need the whites. If you like egg white omelets, feel free to make one. We do not. But so you just put 2 egg yolks, so it's again 1/2 cup of flour, 1 cup of sugar, 2 egg yolks, and then you're going to slowly add the milk in until you have everything very well incorporated. The other ingredients, so it called for 2 pounds of strawberries. Now I don't know if I had 2 pounds or not. I had some powdered strawberry from the last time we freeze dried it, and I just reconstituted it with a little bit of water. I'm going to guess that this is what about 2 pounds of macerated strawberry would look like. You do want to macerate it and beat it up or smash it. And you're going to have a teaspoon of vanilla and a tablespoon of butter. The vanilla and the butter go in at the very, very end after you've done all the cooking. So generally the recipe calls to use a double boiler. I don't like using those, so I'm just using my pan. You do have to keep a closer eye on it to make sure it doesn't burn, but you're going to be whisking it all to the entire time anyway. So just get everything all mixed up. We pour it back in here. I guess I could have mixed it in there, but I like having bowls because they don't have edges where flour and stuff can get stuck. I I've had that happen, and then you end up with flour at the bottom of the pot at the end that you just didn't get mixed into anything. And that's just gross. Okay. So then we're gonna take it over here and we're gonna actually just keep stirring it till we get it to the thickness that we like. I usually make it where once I drag the whisk through it, it takes about 3 seconds for it to close back up. Or if you pick it up and you drop it down in there, it takes about 3 seconds for the ribbon to disappear. That's where I like mine, or that's where I'm gonna have mine go to, and then I'll add my strawberries. And after I add my strawberries, I'll cook it for another 5 minutes or so, but it'll take about 5 seconds for it to smooth back in. And then at the very end, you add your vanilla and your butter. And I'll show you what that looks like when we get there.
Okay.
So right now I have it on high just to get it going because it takes a while. I'll turn it back down to medium once it starts to like simmer. So sorry about my accent, it's going to come out. Apparently pudding's another word I can't say without my accent, like black eyed peas.
And once your Texas accent is triggered, it's hours before it comes back to not being there. I find it endearing.
You love my accent.
I do.
He thinks my accent is sexy.
It's very sexy.
Okay, so this is starting to get thick, and you'll see what I mean. Like if I lift this up and see how it's dropping in, when those stay up for a bit, then I'll take it off. It's getting about time to put in the strawberries. But there we go. See how the ribbons are still there? So that's what I want. And then I got to put the strawberries in. It's actually strawberry and raspberry. So
I'll have to hike 20 kilometers to burn off one serving of this.
we won't.
Yeah. No spatula.
Oh, this is actually kind of at the thickness that you want pudding to be at. So there we go. See how the clump is still there? I don't know if you can see that, but this is about where you want it to be. And because I am adding some liquids, I'm going to let it go a little bit stiffer. So we're going to add in our teaspoon of vanilla. Oh, that vanilla smells good.
Smell that, yeah. Wow. Wish we had smell-o-vision. You guys are missing out on that smell.
Okay, and then that's the tablespoon of butter. And the butter just adds a little bit of richness. That's all it's there to do, is add a little bit of richness. I used whole milk, so if you're using any other more fat milk, then you don't need to add the butter. But especially if you're, I didn't really need to add it with whole milk, but if you're definitely using like skim milk or low fat, 1%, 2%, you're going to want to add the butter. Okay, and see how that's sitting up? That's about what you want. That's like pudding consistency. It'll also, once it cools down, get a little thicker. Because you know how they tell you to whenever you're cooking stuff, they tell you to let it cool for 5 minutes. And it'll thicken up. This will do the same thing. Okay, so now we're just going to put it in our freeze dryer pan. And I had this in the freezer. It doesn't need to be in the freezer. You can do it without it being in the freezer. And I think this might make about 4 servings, I'm guessing. I don't know. I mean, it's pudding. To me, it's all just 1 serving.
A dog nose peeked up in the corner.
Right? The dogs know what's good. Where'd that spoon go? No, stay in there. Okay, and that's as much as I want to get out of there because you know you got to leave a little bit in the pan to eat, right? Some quality control there. Okay.
It smells really good.
Mm. Okay, so now we're going to weigh it, and the reason why we weigh it now is we weigh it to find out how much it weighs with the pan, and then we'll weigh it with the pan after it's freeze dried. You subtract the amounts, we weigh it in grams, and that's how many grams of water you need to add to reconstitute it. And so if I make 4 servings out of it, then it means I take that number and divide it by 4. So this weighs, oops, I gotta let it get to 0 first. There we go. Oh, why is it on milliliters again? There we go. 1513. And then we're gonna go put that in the freezer. Oh, that smells good.
It does. Okay. Everything's frozen. Time to fire this bad boy up. Switch on the back. Pump is already connected and on. This is going to fire up. And I think I showed this the last time. The unit needs to cool before we can use it. So here we go. We just push start. And it's telling us it's going to cool for 15 minutes. So I'm going to set my timer for 14 minutes and then we'll bring everything down and load it up.
So, well, by the magic of YouTube, we have 3 trays of ice cream bites. And 1 tray of strawberry pudding. This is really good, people. I know because I licked the bowl. You just put them in there, close it up tight. Hit continue. It says it's freezing.
That's it. We'll come back and check on it later, see what it says.
So we'll come back and check on it later, see what it says. It's freezing.
It won't take long in this cycle because it's already frozen. That's part of the reason we pre-freeze it, because it shortens the span that it's in the machine. I mean, you already have a freezer going and it's freezing stuff, so you might as well just utilize that instead of extra power for that thing. Right?
Sure.
Okay.
So we just got all of the bites out of the freezer. So the ice cream bites are interesting because they kind of exploded. Some of them exploded a bit. If you can see, this has definitely exploded up a bit. Sugar doesn't necessarily do so well in a freeze dryer, but these, let's see how they taste. Let me find one that's got a little bit of everything. This one's got a little bit of everything. Oh, how cool.
Well, now I need to have one. Oh, yeah.
Are these dry?
Mm-hmm.
They're sticky.
Sugar.
So I'm just putting them in a big bag and then I'll grab whatever I want out of the big bag to make a little bag if we go hiking or camping. Well, when we go hiking and camping. These may not last that long. And ice cream, you obviously do not rehydrate, which is why I didn't bother to weigh these, because, you know, how are you going to rehydrate it, right? So.
Here.
Okay. So by the magic of YouTube, we have them bagged up. You do have to put an oxygen absorber, oxygen, not moisture absorber, into the bag with them, and then you just seal them up. You want to get as much air out as you can, especially on humid days like today. There we go. Now we have the pudding. This is what the pudding looks like. Yum. So as you can see, it bubbled up a little bit here. It shrunk up some. It's what you want to see. That's the moisture gone. We do have to weigh it to see what it weighed. Where did we have that marked?
I got it over here.
It was 1513, I believe.
Yep.
Now it weighs, so it weighed 1513. Now it weighs 1034. Chris is going to do the math on that real quick. I could do it in my head, but y'all would visibly see me thinking. And
479.
479?
Yeah.
So it's lost 479 grams of moisture. We have to keep that in mind because that's how you know how much to add.
Are you going to crush that down to a powder?
I am.
Do you want to use my...
Done.
Really? Because it went through a whole extra drying cycle.
It's really...
Sticky?
Yeah.
Well, we know the sugar goes sticky.
Yeah, but it's not even breaking like it should.
Okay, well...
So this is not done.
Maybe we will put it back in for another cycle.
Yeah, and those are not done.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm. I think that's why they're sticky.
Okay, well, let's try it again.
Hmm?
Let's try it again. Through the magic of YouTube. No. Tell us what you're doing now then.
So these don't, to me they didn't feel like they were done, and this isn't breaking apart like it should, so it's actually not done. So we're just going to stick it through another cycle. It hadn't been 24 hours, so I didn't think it was done. Usually it takes in the higher 28 something. So, but we're going to just stick it through another cycle, and through the magic of YouTube, we will come right back to where we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so through the magic of YouTube, we have finished another cycle. This one was obviously a lot shorter. So I closed up this bag, got all the air out of it and closed it up, and I put the oxygen absorber, all three of them, in the same bag. So I'm just going to pull that one out. Chris, can you put this one in that bag and seal it? You don't want to leave the oxygen absorbers out. Ours are in a sealed mason jar. So, and ultimately we're going to get the jars that have the rubber ringed and sealed to put this stuff in instead of putting them in a giant huge. But I have a feeling the ice cream bites are going to stick around for a while. Meaning something we do often.
Yeah.
Because they were yummies.
You want to crush the pudding up? You want to use the pestle that I have?
Yeah, that'll work.
Okay.
So, I'm just going to see. So if I was taking this, if this was meant to be specifically a backpacking meal, we have a sealer that we would just seal this top off and seal it off to keep it. These are not. This is for us to snack on. I might take it backpacking with me this weekend. Don't know.
Well, you wouldn't be taking all of it. You'd just be taking a handful.
Some of it, yeah. I will definitely be taking some of the pudding with me.
Yeah, I'm curious how that'll reconstitute.
Well, I know with the pudding, when you reconstitute it, you have to let it sit for a little longer because you're not using boiling water. You want to use cold water because hot pudding just ain't that good. And you have to kind of mush it in the bag to like stir it up, or open it up and actually stir it up. And the reason, if you're wondering why I'm getting all these crumbs and putting them in here, is because I might use the crumbs to make another pudding from. Because, you know, why not? Why waste? But there we go. So that's that one. Now,
check the weight on that again.
Yeah.
On the pudding.
So originally it was 1513. It is now.
Yeah.
Oh, I wait for zero. It is now 1029.
Okay, so that's an extra 5 that pulled out. That's significant. Which is a 483 water loss.
So, and I'm going to make this into, I guess, I don't know, maybe 6 servings. But this might be faster to do in a
food processor.
In a food processor.
What about my little bullet thing? Well, that might not work though.
What little bullet thing?
I'll have that bullet.
Oh, that should work. But it'll be weird, but it should work.
I mean, just crush it out.
This came out like rock hard, but we're going to make it a powder.
You could do it in this. And we'll use this top of it.
So what I'm weighing now is to figure out how many ounces are a serving, and you have to weigh it obviously without the tray, or the tray becomes a serving.
I have to do this off screen. Oh, I got more cord here. I got lots more cord.
We'll just cut this.
No, we won't.
Okay, so 375.
375?
Yep.
Is what you got?
Yep.
Well, that's without the tray, but you had a water loss.
Yeah, but 375 is divided by 6, and then that's how many servings we have. How does this work?
Okay.
So the bullet thingy didn't work, so now we're going to go with the... How does this work? Okay.
going again.
Okay, and now we got a ground up powder. It smells really good.
We need 62.5 grams per serving if you're doing 6.
So if we were to do 6 servings, I'm not gonna split this up into servings.
Just right on the lid.
Huh?
You gonna write on the lid, or do you want a sticky note?
Yeah, like a sticky note, and I'll stick it on the jar. That's all completely broke up. Could you get me a jar?
Yes. Here. I'll put one of these sticky note flags on there. We can figure out how much
Where did
water.
my green funnel go?
Huh?
Where did my green funnel go?
It's not in there, it's up in the other cupboard. Up there.
Up here?
Yeah.
Where?
It's in that white thing. And then we'll figure out the water. Which I might err on a little bit less, right?
Yeah, air plus, you can always add more.
483. About 6 grams of water.
Can you give me one of the little jars?
60 grams.
That's full.
About 60 grams of water.
So there you have it. We should put an oxygen absorber in these.
I don't know how much 60 grams is of water when you weigh it out.
There you got it. We got our raspberry strawberry pudding. And you can make just single servings. There we go.
Done.
Done.